Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay. I'm the Housewife historian, and today we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac because we are wrapping up another season and we just got some headlines in from TMZ as it pertains to Karen Huger and the fact that she was driving and wrecked her 2017 Maserati and was detained, refused a breathalyzer, and was taken into the station and booked for a DUI. Also, it's coming out sources saying that she, I guess, had gotten a DUI like 10 years prior to the show. So, I mean, a significant amount of time. But we've heard so many rumors about Karen and like all the things that Giselle said about Karen and alluding to Karen's drinking. And she doesn't really drink on this show, if you noticed. She did get drunk one time. And if you guys remember, I think it was like Wendy's first season. She got drunk. I think they were at Monique Samuel's house, her vacation home or something like that. And she got real drunk and she was talking about when Ray had gotten in trouble with taxes for his company. Like, I can't remember the details about what he owed or why he owed it, but they owed a couple, a significant amount of money. It was making headlines. And she, I think, paid part of it. And so she was, saying to them basically she wanted her money back. Like, she paid for him to get out of this trouble with his business and all this, probably things she had nothing to do with, or, none of her business dealings. But obviously the headlines were around her because of Ray being her husband. And if you remember, she used to say things like Ray was the Black Bill Gates, right? Like that he was very, very rich and that he was well off when she met and married him. So I don't know. They've already filmed the reunion, but we know just from watching Kyle Richards on her series. Well, it's not her series; it's Mauricio's series on Buying Beverly Hills. We just saw a clip of her, and she was discussing the People article that came out about her and Mauricio and their alleged separation. And they were in Aspen, and she basically said she had to pick up and head back to Beverly Hills because they were picking the cameras back up, because when things like this happen, they will often pick the cameras back up. And we saw that in the Real Housewives of Atlanta when Drew Sidor and her husband announced their divorce 3 days after filming. Bravo went back and started filming that. And yeah, so I don't know what they'll end up doing, because again, we're wrapping up the season. They just got done filming the reunion. We have this huge brawl that is happening in the next episode, and Bravo is, playing us like they play us every time something like this happens. And they conveniently don't have any visuals on the actual fight, which is so crazy because the fight was leaked before the season even came out. I mean, it was leaked immediately after it happened. And we see the fight from start to finish. But Bravo, I don't think is going to include any of that. I don't think that they want people to think that they're promoting any sort of, you know, um, aggravated behavior, however you want to say it. I don't think that they want people to think that that's what they're promoting, or that they're promoting women fighting with each other, or that they're promoting too much drinking. So if anyone looks at this fight scene and says like, oh, well, Bravo was pushing drinks on them, or Bravo, yada, 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 that's really not the case. Deborah came in as Ashley Darby's friend, which I used to really root for Ashley Darby. When she first came on the show, I really enjoyed her, but she is different. And she says at the reunion that she rubs Michael Darby's feet every night. And I just cannot unhear that. I just cannot unhear it. And it makes me wonder if she is more troubled, okay, than we thought. Like, I understood that she was with him when she was younger, and she, didn't have her dad growing up, and she was sort of rejected by him even as an adult. And she ends up with Michael, and he's older and he has money, yada yada, but now she has like two children. And I'm wondering if really she just wanted the hell out of that condo. Or is that what they called it, what they lived in? It was a condo. at the high rise, two babies and two adults in that place was too much. And I don't think Ashley wanted to divorce Michael. I don't think she wanted to separate from Michael. I don't think she wanted any of that. She wanted a house. Okay. And she done had one baby in that condo. And then when she had that second baby in that little tight condo, it was too small. They only had like a living room and I mean, it was beautiful. It was a high rise, but like it did not have the accommodations to have two little boys. I have one toddler and I have shit spilling out my windows, like indoors, like just stuff and toys and shoes and socks and coats and like you just start accumulating so much stuff when you have children. And I think that the only way Michael, because he is so dominant in their relationship and he controls the money, which controls a lot of things, even though she has her own income. I'm not sure what Ashley should have been done, had her own brand and been building it this entire time. Like she's been on the Housewives. Housewives doesn't last forever. If you're lucky, you're going to get a decade. That's like if you're really, really lucky. Like you got to build something that matters in a certain amount of time, at least start something. And we haven't seen that from her. So I don't know what's going to happen with her because Michael refuses to film and nobody's really interested in just Ashley not really divorcing Michael. And then they're also claiming her house was like a not a bed and breakfast, what is it? Like oh my God, an Airbnb is what people were saying her house was. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I know that all these DUIs from these housewives are probably, I feel like the network is not mad about it. Like Shannon Bedore, Real Housewives of Orange County, we saw her get a DUI a couple of months ago. She too crashed into a yard and I don't even know what it was, something, and kept driving until she realized that these young skateboarders were following her, filming her with their phones, and then she just kind of parked in the middle of the road. But she allegedly is attending intensive outpatient therapy for her issues. And now, what are we going to get from Karen Huger? Because I feel like Karen is very, I don't know what the word is. Like, I don't want to say she's not humble, but at the same time, I think that she is someone that would like let this mortify her. She didn't even acknowledge it with the TMZ statement. People were remarking about the fact that she didn't say anything about the DUI in the statement. There's articles when the TMZ first announced this, they did not say whether or not she had a breathalyzer, whether or not she was arrested. They didn't say any of that, but they did say that there was a police report coming because there was significant damage done, that more than what we realized. Like they had to kind of cut her out of the car, and there was actually even a small fire under the engine. Um, so yeah, she was arrested and she didn't blow. So a lot of times if you are rich and you have an attorney and they tell you, if they pull up on you to give you a DUI, here's the thing: if you blow and you are over the legal limit, you're going to lose your license for 6 months, possibly more, depending on how intoxicated you are. Therefore, if you just refuse to give a breathalyzer, you're automatically losing your license for 6 months. But at the same time, they aren't able to give you pinpoint how drunk you may or may not be. And so that gives you a lot of leniency when you are defending yourself, because it could, that they said her eyes were red and her speech was slurred, but she could still say, I had a drink and I took cold medicine, or I had a drink and I took my anxiety medicine. You know how it goes. So I don't know what's going to happen with Karen. And Kelly says, any news from Shannon? Well, yes, actually, there is some news from Shannon, because Johnny J, formerly known as John, which was Shannon's boyfriend, this several years on the show, always seemed a little shyish, like he didn't want to be on camera. And we started to hear about these drunken late night phone calls to other cast members about Johnny J. Anyways, Johnny J says Shannon owes him $75,000 for a facelift. Now, this is very confusing to all of us who did not think that Johnny J was the type that had the money, right? in my opinion, I always thought that Shannon came from money because one, she was an only child. Two, I think her father was, pretty well off, middle to upper class. He lives in Newport Beach. He's living his best life. Um, so I just really did. And Shannon got like a lot of money, didn't she? When she got divorced, she got like a lump sum of like, I don't know, I want to say close to the millions because her and her husband had built that business together. So she got a significant amount. Anyways, he's suing her for 75,000. Now, Shannon came out and her attorney said that they had tried to settle this with him, like pay him the money because she's, obviously in attorney fees. If you're trying to sue someone for 75,000, if you spend 50,000 in attorney fees, what's the point, right? And so she's like, we just wanted to wrap this up. I wanted to pay him back. I wanted to cut the ties. That way we wrap everything up so there was no loose ends, basically. But they wanted him to sign sort of an NDA, and he refused. And so, therefore, she did not pay him back, and now he's taking her to court for it. So it's getting disclosed because it's a civil case. So obviously, people are allowed to see the claim, and it's public. And I'm sure she doesn't want that out there. So. But 75,000? I mean, when did she get her facelift? I'm wondering from what season to what season she got her facelift. And I still want to know, I keep saying this in my videos anytime I talk about Shannon and Johnny J. Last season, there was a moment when they were filming, and there was like something that the cast kept alluding to about Johnny J and Shannon that they never really told us. They did show a scene with Shannon. She was like stepped off to the side. They kind of broke the fourth wall. It was like her and a producer. And she's telling the producer, like, look, if this comes out, like, we're done. We're done. We're done. Him and I are done. Like, and I'm basically, he's never going to film again. And we never really found out what that was. Like, there was only rumors about it. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? What didn't he want to come out? Did he cheat on you? Was it a DV situation? Like, what are we talking about here? Because Shannon was very adamant. She was very worked up, you know how Shannon gets, and she was just very, very adamant to the producer, like, we are going to be out of here if you guys even try to put this on camera. So there's that. Now you have Johnny J running around to every award show in town with Alexis, who I don't know. I mean, I kind of I don't know what I think. Do you guys think it's real or is it not real? I sort of feel like Alexis. I mean, look at her first husband. I know he was rich, but still, guys, like she was, I think, really, in the long haul with him. In my opinion, his children cannot stand her. Can't stand Shannon or can't stand Alexis because I remember that the children did not like Shannon. And I noticed that, like, I don't know, a month ago maybe, Alexis posted pictures of a family trip, and it included the children, all of the children, her children and his children, to like I don't want to say like the Rocky Mountains, but it was like to a mountainous, scenery type of location. So I thought that was interesting. I kind of felt like it was like a slap in the face to Shannon because of the fact that Shannon's one of those people that she wants everyone to like her. Um, that's her personality. That's something she should work on in therapy because she's old enough to know that that's her personality type. Like, okay, the son doesn't exactly care for you, but he's also a teenage boy. Therefore, like, the more you push something on him, the less he's going to respond. So, you know, maybe try to buy him something. Take a note from Kelly Dodd's book. I remember when she dated that doctor and he didn't want his kid to be privileged. And meanwhile, she was like flying Jolie to like overseas to different summer camps and stuff to see the world in private jets. And she like bought his son like this expensive gaming system and he was pissed. So Shannon that's her personality though. She doesn't like when people don't like her. And so I felt like that was a dig at Shannon because they were taking all the kids together. Alexis has 3 kids. I think they have a set of twins. Remember that story about, oh God, do you guys remember the story about her? Wasn't it her that the kids were like in the stroller and it was like a 4th of July party or something, and the stroller brake wasn't on. This isn't funny. I laugh in uncomfortable situations, okay? The stroller brake wasn't on, and the stroller rolled into a pool, into an in-ground pool. The children were strapped in the stroller, and it rolled into a pool. And someone like went in and got them, saved them, of course, because there was like lots of people around. It was a party or whatever. But I feel like that was Alexis, wasn't it? I'm gonna have to check and see if it was, because I'm pretty sure that was her. I also noticed that she's taking a liking to Tamra. Did you guys notice that at all? Tamra and Alexis have been posting, and people are a little bit surprised. I think they thought they were going to be enemies, but they aren't. And I think that is going to be even harder for Shannon, because she's going to feel even more isolated, and she's going to feel strange already, because one, let's remember something, guys. This is probably her first season not drink. She's not going to be able to drink on camera because of the fact that she is on probation. So, I don't know if she got 6 months probation or a year probation, whatever it is. She's not going to be allowed to be. She's not even supposed to be in areas really that like serve alcohol, all like that. Yeah, I mean, it's serious. You're on probation. They could violate you if you go to the store and you're buying wine or a 6-pack and you pass your probation officer in the store. They can violate you for that. I've seen it happen. So she's gonna have to be careful. If you guys remember, I always think about the Real Housewives of New York, Luann, when she was on probation after she got into that trouble in Miami, or maybe it was South Beach or North Beach, South Beach, wherever. It was in Florida. And she couldn't drink, and I think she like even got in trouble at one point for like drinking on the show or something. So they have to be really mindful if they're on probation. Also, Teresa Giudice, when she was on house arrest, when she came home from prison, I remember like she couldn't really drink either, and she had a curfew. And so Shannon would have a curfew as well. So the other ladies are going to be able to drink and hoop it up. And we know Tamara loves to hoop it up, guys. We just saw, I put it on my TikTok at like, I don't know, a month ago. She was dancing on the bar and fell. And I don't even think cameras were there. I don't even know if they were or not. So Tamara likes to have a good time. We've seen it season after season, year after year, and I feel like Alexis coming back is bringing a little bit more youth. Alexis isn't like a spring chicken, but she's still not a grandma yet. I don't know. I'm just saying. So I feel like Tamara will want to keep up with that. And then on top of it, you have Tamara's friend Jen, who has now joined the equation. I don't know how I feel about her. I feel like I would have rather have seen the doctor, Jen Armstrong, because this other Jen woman, she's already getting sued for the rent at her yoga studio, unpaid rent from the yoga studio that we saw last season. So I'm like, you're with this man, you got these kids, and you got this family business that your ex-husband's working for. I don't know. It just didn't really all make sense to me. But I guess they're bringing her back, so that's what we'll have to look forward to. Did you guys watch The Valley? Did anyone watch The Valley? I wanted to know if I should even bother doing reviews on it. I watched the first episode. I kind of actually liked it. I like Brittany, Jax's wife. I think she's really sweet, and I feel bad for her. Like, that is her husband, and they are separated now. And I think Jax is like enjoying his newfound I don't even know, celebrityism, if you will, because he was seen karaokeing with Tom Sandoval last night to NSYNC, or it was like the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, I'm not sure. Either way, just as embarrassing, one or the other, tomato, embarrassing, and they were really into it, and it was just cringe, so cringe. Okay, let me see if I can find the story about Alexis. Okay, I got it. It happened in 2010. Y'all, sometimes this is why I'm the housewife historian right here, okay? Because sometimes I can pull from my memory bank things that other people forget. US Weekly, July. So it was a 4th of July party in 2010. Let me take you there. OC housewife defends herself after kid stroller rolled into the pool. It was Alexis. Defends herself on her blog after, that's how old this is. Her blog after a stroller carrying her 2.5-year-old daughter rolled into a pool on the 4th. In a post accompanied by a photo of her posing in a body-hugging cat suit, she writes, on Sunday, July 4th, my family was leaving the Bulba Bay Club in Newport Beach, California, swimming pool in the late afternoon. As we were leaving, I turned to say goodbye. Our girls were in their stroller, and I thought I had put the brake on, but apparently I didn't. My husband, Jim, and I were both standing close to the stroller. Within seconds, the stroller had rolled towards the pool, and a stroller wheel rolled off the edge of the pool before either of us could grab the stroller. A second wheel rolled off the edge, and the stroller went into the pool. Of course, Jim instantly went into the pool. He grabbed the girls himself and lifted both of them out of the water because the girls were not strapped into the stroller, and Jim was right there. Their heads did not even go underwater. Okay, well, that's at least good to know that it wasn't that bad. I'm sure as the press probably made it worse. It says, while we're not making light of the incident and have been reminded to never take our eyes off the children for even a second when near the water, it has been hurtful to know how this experience has been mischaracterized in the media. To all of you who have offered support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. TMZ, which first reported the story, cited witnesses who claim the girls, Melania and McKenna, slipped into the water when their parents were off, quote, doing something. I don't know what that means, but yes. So, I don't know. I mean, that happened back in 2010, and now, she's a happy single. Like, her and Jim ended up getting divorced, and he, I think, sued Tamara and Vicky, was it? Or Tamara and Shannon? I think that's what it was. They went on the Heather McDonald podcast, and he sued them. So, yeah, there was a lot of articles. It was all over the press back then. Jeez. Thank goodness. Bravo did catch up with Alexis in 2018, though. They put it on their website because she's a single mom. So I wonder how long her and Jim got divorced. If you know, I told you guys a while back, he was actually dating that Nicole girl who was brought on to the Real Housewives of Orange County a couple of seasons ago. She's the one that had the breast augmentation by Terry Dubrow and had sued them and just wasn't going to say anything. She thought she should just not say anything. So, yeah. Alexis was dating a guy before this, but I don't know what happened. I think they were even engaged. So, it looks like it says both Alexis and Jim have made it clear that despite their separation, their kids remain their priority. It was with heavy hearts that we informed the public of our mutual decision to end our marriage. It's important to us that we made this choice together with love. It's the best decision for our children's future. So, yada yada. It looked like their kids were probably their daughters were probably 7 or 8 at the time. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised they brought her back, but I really keep saying to you guys that it was the BravoCon joke that she did when she went off character because it was really funny, and I got almost 2 million views on TikTok for that video. So to me, I think that's people, I don't know, took a liking to her. It's important to also say that Karen Huger from the Real Housewives of Potomac had alleged that she had had dinner with a close friend and that it had been an emotional dinner. And that's what had caused her to be so emotional that caused the car crash. And then we have Mia. Are you guys interested in this Mia and her husband storyline? Are you guys buying this? I'm so confused because she's posting on Instagram with another man, right? They're on a boat together, and it's very affectionate. It's very clear that they're together. And then we see her at the reunion and she's with her husband, Gordon, and yes, he's 73 years old, and yes, she's like in her 30s, okay, but like the guy calls on a FaceTime, she answers it in front of Gordon and then proceeds to be like, Gordon, he said hello. Like, say hello back. And Gordon's like, hi. And it's just very awkward. And I think he's uncomfortable. Just because she's comfortable doesn't mean he's comfortable. It looks like an uncomfortable situation. And of course, she's comfortable with it. And the DJ host is comfortable with it because they're the ones banging and they shouldn't be because, she's in this marriage with Gordon. So it's like, yeah, you guys are fine with it. But he's the one that's has to explain it and deal with like the embarrassment, I'm sure. I can only imagine. And then on top of it, they're going to announce, I think, that their oldest son isn't Gordon's, which we did not know that either. So I don't know what's going on with Mia, if they're going to bring her back or not, because sometimes the lies, guys, I don't want to hear like blatant, like just blatant lies, like I had an inheritance and you didn't. You know what I mean? Like it was a steak and lobster place and he was spending bands on me and he wasn't. Like, what is it? We can't be different every season. Like, just like Deborah, she was outright lying on Chris. I'm not surprised. People are like, I can't believe they brought her back. She was outright lying. Sometimes there's people that just delusionally think that everyone is hitting on them. I've met people like that. Is Deborah one of those people? I'm not sure. She did blatantly lie on Chris, but to bring her back and then her to start this altercation with Candace, who already had an altercation with Monique several years ago that anyone that watches the show knows, like, went on for several seasons. It was a big deal. It was traumatic for Candace, I think, just because she had never dealt with something like that. Monique, she's been in fights before. Like, that wasn't nothing for her, but Candace was like traumatized, brokenhearted over it. And so to come at her is kind of shitty because Deborah, you knew if you watched that back, like maybe she thought Bravo cut it. I don't think they could have cut it because they showed the initial interaction between Chris and her when she walked up to the bar. And the play by play that Deborah gave was not the play by play that we saw. And that's just that. And I don't know. I just think Ashley shouldn't even have brought her back. Ashley Darby really had no business really inviting her to that event, to be honest. I really think that she was beyond messy for doing that. Like I said, I've always really rooted for Ashley. I've really liked her as a housewife, but when she brought Deborah on initially and that happened and she blatantly lied, I was like, oh, I don't really like, I just, that's, I don't know. That just wasn't my thing. And I kinda, like, looked at Ashley a little side-eyed after that because I was like, "Is this really, like, the people that you, like, hang out with?" Because if you knew this woman, here's the thing, Ashley's not just meeting her. So when you meet people and you pin them for their personality that they are, like, okay, if you want to be friends with Deborah, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm going to judge you that you knew how she was and you brought her onto the show anyways. And she made an ass out of herself, which in return sort of makes an ass out of you because you are the one introducing her to the group. She is slightly a representation of you, and then you bring her back again the next season, and I don't know, I just can't. I kind of feel Candace on this one, like, that was bad. And I think, is it because Ashley feels like this is her way in the drama because Deborah's her friend. So if Deborah's involved in the drama, Ashley sort of has a storyline, something to talk about because it's her friend. So therefore she can speak up and, narrate what happened and speak on Deborah's behalf because Deborah's not a friend of, and she's not, she's not going to be she's not going to be having her own confessional or anything. So, um, the only thing we'll get from Deborah is like a TikTok or an Instagram live or something telling us what happened. So it gives Ashley something problematic to discuss for one. It also helps her bestie Giselle because anything that puts Candace in a bad light makes Giselle happy. Let's be honest, that's the truth. It makes her happy. So Ashley's like, here, best friend, here you go. You've had a rough season and Robin hasn't been rocking with, you and Robin aren't rocking together like they normally used to. So Ashley was like, let me give you this early birthday present, and I'm going to invite Deborah to the fashion show. And she's going to pick on Candace, basically. I wonder, I mean, obviously Deborah had to know they were still mic'd because was Deborah mic'd? You know what I mean? I don't know if she was mic'd or not. We know that Candace was mic'd and the other young lady was mic'd, but we don't know if Deborah was mic'd. Because when you go into those events, they usually have like Bravo set up outside the event at a table, and you have to like fill out a form, and you're basically like signing a waiver that if you're on camera, they can use you, I guess. And that doesn't mean that you get a mic though, right? So I'm not sure if she was mic'd or not, but regardless, thank you and shout out to whoever the brother or sister was in the club that night that got us the actual footage from the actual fight. Because I think that if we would have had another season of Bravo missing the entire thing and not catching any of it and just having a little bit of audio, people would have not been so happy, in my opinion. Um, I do wonder about the new girl that is Nigerian, the one that Wendy was, like, arguing with. Her husband's the doctor, they're trying to have the baby. They go into the, I don't even know if it's an in vitro doctor, what kind of doctor it is, but basically he, takes the goods and puts them in her so that it helps to guarantee a better chance of, like, fertilizing a healthy egg. And they filmed it all, y'all. Like, they filmed going to the doctor's office, like, the husband has to go in a bathroom and put it in a cup, and she is like, "I wanna assist him," and it kinda seemed like the nurse was making, like, special, like, bending the rules a little bit, like, that wasn't standard. Like, usually the men go and they're able to just handle their everything by themselves, and the women don't have to go into the bathroom with them, but she wanted to go in there, and they had their mics on, and I was like, "Wow, this is really intimate, isn't it?" I mean, my goodness, I don't know, it was a little something we don't always see. I mean, I wonder if it's gonna get her a full-time spot or not. I think Wendy's coming for her. I don't know what Wendy's gonna do though. I like Wendy, but honestly, we didn't get a whole lot from her this season. I know was trying to do her talk show and she was doing a pilot for that, but I don't think that that turned out because we didn't get a talk show. So I think that that might have been a failed adventure, but I'm sure Happy Eddie and his, medicinal marijuana line is probably lucrative for them. But, I don't know, is it disappointing that we didn't get to see a talk show from her? I know that she did have some big names, it sounded like, on the show, and they were doing sort of like a more casual, like The View, like all women sitting around talking about tough subjects or things in the light, that sort of thing. I don't know. I just don't know if people are into problematic shows like that and hearing people's opinion also much like that on daytime television, but maybe they are. I don't know. Daytime television's changed a lot. I think the genre and the category of people that watch daytime television are different. And so you're not like, you're not selling it to people on TikTok or Instagram, or even YouTube. You're trying to sell it to daytime television who, is entertained by things like All My Children and soap operas. And I don't know if there's so much politics that, you can take on daytime television after the news and after The View and after, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Jeez. But anyways, I just wanted to hop on, guys, and talk a little bit about Karen's DUI and what we're going to be getting from Potomac, which will not be the DUI unless they picked up cameras. Um, Also, we saw a live from Kathy Hilton and Sutton Strack, which I thought was cute. I think that Sutton may be dating someone. It seemed like Kathy and Sutton really hadn't fought at all. Sutton seemed a little bit out of character, like she was a little embarrassed, and the gentleman like steps in the frame, and I don't know, he was handsome, but she seemed embarrassed, like she didn't own it. And I was like, "Ooh, I don't know. Is that the driver or something? Is that why she doesn't want to introduce him?" Because the other guy, she had cameras film their entire first time they met and their second date and everything. And then that didn't work out. So I don't know. Are you guys buying Beverly Hills? Are you guys watching Buying Beverly Hills? Are you guys watching The Valley? Anyone? Asking for a friend. Are you guys going to be watching New Jersey? Neil Thornton's going to be on Watch What Happens Live tonight. I wonder how that's going to go. Who knows what kind of crazy ass story she's going to tell us on Watch What Happens Live, because she's not going to have anyone else to call her out from the show. Just Andy, and he can't stay on top of everything. Just saying. What was I gonna say? Oh, but we're about to have like nothing on New Jersey or nothing on Bravo except for Real Housewives of New Jersey and The Valley. I almost feel like it's their way of forcing us to watch The Valley, because there's nothing really else that Bravo's gonna be coming out with, because Vanderpump Rules is also wrapping up. And also we're hearing that Dorito's gonna be making a cut from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, possibly. We don't know if that's true or not, but Kyle Richards did say in an Amazon Live that she has not talked to Dorit Kemsley since their reunion. So I did not think that was a very good sign. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for Potomac, but I'm going to keep the content coming. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Hit the like, hit the follow button. You can check out my TikTok at HW Historian and the number 2. I put a lot of content, Housewives content up there, and also my Instagram. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.